Welcome everyone to the Talkaroo Talk Show. Our guest today is Peter Forbes, a renowned science writer and journalist focusing on the life sciences and natural history. He studied chemistry and worked for the Pharmaceutical Society of Great Britain and in natural history publishing before embarking on a career as a freelance writer. He lives in London and teaches the narrative non-fiction course at City University of London. Peter, a very warm welcome. Before we dive in, let me briefly introduce our platform to you and our audience. Talkaroo is a platform that brings words alive. A book, a diary, a video. As long as there are words, we can let them speak with you. In a sense, we can bring the deceased back to life. Given your work on microbes, I suppose we could even talk to them if we wanted to. But today, we'd much rather talk to you, the author of the book, Thinking Small and Large, How Microbes Made and Can Save Our World.
Thank you for that most generous introduction, and for welcoming me to the Talkaroo platform. The notion of bringing words alive, of making the unseen audible, is a truly fascinating one. Indeed, to speak of bringing the deceased back to life, even the microbial, touches upon a profound truth about science itself, the way we uncover the hidden architects of our world and give voice to their stories. My work, particularly in Thinking Small and Large, often grapples with this very idea, how the smallest, often invisible entities have shaped, and continue to shape, our macroscopic existence. It reminds me of the point Louis Wolpert made in his book, The Unnatural Nature of Science, that scientific discovery is rarely an extension of common sense. We are so often convinced by what we see and believe, yet the most fundamental processes often operate on scales far beyond our immediate perception. The gap between what our senses tell us and what scientific reasoning reveals is profound, and nowhere is this clearer than in the microbial world. Consider the microbes my colleague Lynn Margulis celebrated with such passion, as detailed in books like Garden of Microbial Delights. She rhapsodized about unicellular diatoms, for instance, which construct incredibly intricate geometrical cases made of silicon dioxide. These aren't just tiny organisms. They are natural engineers and artists, demonstrating a precision and complexity at the smallest scale that profoundly impacts the largest systems of our planet. Their stories are not immediately visible, but through scientific inquiry, we bring them to life, revealing their immense contributions. It is through understanding such hidden patterns, connecting the molecular to the macroscopic, that we truly begin to comprehend the world.
That's a fascinating point, Peter. Indeed, scientific discoveries are often counterintuitive, like quantum mechanics. Even today, our common sense struggles with concepts like quantum entanglement. Perhaps that's because we humans, as mid-sized beings, find it hard to comprehend the microstructures of both the quantum world and the microbial world. But some of us have the ability to shift perspective and make profound discoveries. And thanks to your efforts, more people will understand microbes and their impact on our lives and our future. So for our audience, what is the core message you hope they take away from reading Thinking Small and Large?
You've touched upon a profound point, David, about our mid-sized human perspective. It's precisely this challenge that Thinking Small and Large endeavors to address. The main message of the book is a journey through 4 billion years of life on Earth, viewed through a novel lens. It argues that to truly understand our present predicament and to chart a course for our future, we must comprehend the foundational role of the microscopic and the immense scales of time that have shaped our planet. For too long, our popular understanding of microbes has been skewed, often focusing on them as mere pathogens to be hunted and eradicated. But as I delve into in the book, microbes are not primarily pathogenic predators. How could they be? For over 3 billion years, they were the only living things on the planet. They are the original engineers, the unheralded architects of Earth's habitability. In the words of biological oceanographer Paul Falkowski, microbes made the world habitable. They created the conditions for all subsequent plant and animal life, including ourselves, to flourish. This is the essence of thinking small, recognizing the immense power and creativity at the invisible molecular scale. But if thinking small is challenging, thinking large is no less so. It demands grappling with the abyss of time, the 13.7 billion years of the universe, the 4.54 billion years of Earth's existence. We humans, with our mere 300,000 years as a species, are but a fleeting moment in this grand saga. We've been a mere pimple on the Earth's ecosystem for most of our history, but now we've become, as I describe it, a raging boil, inducing an earth fever that threatens to consume us all. Therefore, the central message is that there is an alpha and omega feel to this 4 billion year odyssey. It provides both a powerful rationale for the urgent questions about civilization's survival, questions famously articulated by Sir Martin Rees, and, critically, a potential program for escaping that fate. By understanding the deep, interconnected patterns of life, from the molecular ingenuity of diatoms to the planetary scale transformations wrought by microbial photosynthesis, we can find inspiration and practical solutions. In essence, thinking small and large asserts that our survival hinges on recognizing this unique alignment of human history and natural history, and learning from the planet's oldest, most resilient inhabitants how to create and sustain a world.
You mentioned in the book that a simple equation has been at the heart of life for around 4 billion years. What is that equation, and why is it so important?
Yes. That phrase refers to a profound chemical truth that underpins existence itself, a concept I explore in the second chapter, Tornado in the Junkyard. The equation, as scientist Mike Russell so eloquently put it, is this: the purpose of life is to hydrogenate carbon dioxide. Now, why is this seemingly simple statement so utterly crucial? Imagine the primordial Earth. For billions of years, before complex life and our oxygen-rich atmosphere, life had to build itself from the available raw materials, hydrogen, H2, and carbon dioxide, carbon dioxide. To, quote, hydrogenate carbon dioxide means to combine these two fundamental molecules, adding hydrogen atoms to carbon dioxide. This chemical act is the genesis of organic molecules, the sugars, proteins, and lipids that are the very building blocks of life. It is the basic mechanism for creating complex carbon compounds from simple inorganic precursors. We see echoes of this primordial process even today in deep-sea black smokers, where life thrives not on sunlight, but on chemosynthesis, harnessing chemical energy from the very reactions that hydrogenate carbon dioxide. This provides a powerful model for how life might have first taken hold on our planet. This fundamental interaction has remained a persistent thread throughout the 4 billion year tapestry of life. What's truly remarkable is that this ancient principle, this dance between H2 and carbon dioxide, is also necessarily at the heart of our efforts today to find sustainable solutions and ease our planet back from the disequilibrium caused by our fossil fuel dependency. It shows how the past holds keys to our future, right down to the molecular level.
It's hard enough for us oxygen breathers to imagine our cave-dwelling past, let alone that primordial carbon dioxide plus H2 era. But the equation distills it for us. Carbon dioxide plus H2 equals the whole of living matter.
You've articulated it perfectly, David. It is incredibly difficult to grasp that primordial age. That simple equation is indeed a distillation of life's earliest, most fundamental act of creation. Then, of course, came the Great Revolution, the advent of oxygenic photosynthesis, pioneered by cyanobacteria. This was a game changer. We often think of plants as the primary oxygen producers, but it's crucial to remember that today, almost half the global oxygen is still produced by cyanobacteria and other unicellular organisms in the oceans. This rise of oxygen had dramatic consequences. The success of cyanobacteria in depleting atmospheric carbon dioxide led to the first Snowball Earth episode around 2.4 billion years ago. The very success of life almost froze the planet solid, because there were no air-breathing organisms yet to complete the carbon cycle. Life itself evolved in extraordinary ways under these new conditions. The modern nucleated cells that emerged from the switch to oxygen respiration developed astonishing new capabilities. Consider their flagella, for instance. These possess a remarkable 9+2 structure, like a multi-core electric cable. Composed of myosin, the same protein in our muscles, these strands move past each other to generate a whip-like motion, a vital nanomachine of astonishing complexity. As the visionary scientist Lynn Margulis understood so well, these, quote, growing, gene-trading, burping, breathing bacteria are living control mechanisms in a system of global elemental cycling. Even today, the influence of phytoplankton remains profoundly underappreciated. So from that foundational equation to the oxygen revolution, it's a testament to how the small, the unseen, the chemical, truly is the grand architect of our world.
It would be great if you could explain more on how the modern cell was born.
You've highlighted one of the most remarkable and peculiar stories in all of life's history. When we look at a cell under a microscope, whether from a human or a mushroom, they are, astonishingly, practically identical. This universal modern cell is a true lash-up, an almost inconceivably ramshackle arrangement. But how did this lash-up come into being? Not through gradual unfolding, but through what I call the Great Engulfment. The most singular event in the history of life on Earth is the evolution of a tiny, walled-off component within the cell, an organelle. The idea, brought to prominence in 1967 by Lynn Margulis, is that the modern cell resulted from a fusion, where one bacterium quite literally engulfed another. She proposed that our modern nucleated cell, the very foundation of all complex life, arose not by slow evolution, but by a series of such fusions. Think of the mitochondria within our cells, often known as the cell's power pack. These are prime examples of these infinitesimal giants, once free-living microbes, now co-opted and integrated, working in symbiotic harmony. They are a living testament to that momentous event. As Lynn Margulis so beautifully captured it, all life forms are meticulously organized, sophisticated aggregates of evolving microbial life. This great engulfment is a testament to the improvisational genius of evolution, showing us that nature sometimes arrives at its most successful solutions not through perfect design, but through audacious repurposing and symbiotic integration.
So, if this great engulfment was such a singular, almost improbable event, it feels like life itself was incredibly lucky to have happened at all. We might be entirely different if that event hadn't occurred. But whether fast or slow, life evolved. Why did these fusions happen? It's evolution. The fittest survived by jumping on such opportunities. Why are all life forms meticulously organized, sophisticated aggregates? Because being so confers fitness, and thus survival. Evolution is indeed genius.
You've cut right to the heart of it, David. It wasn't just a stroke of luck, but a testament to evolution's relentless drive to find advantage. You are quite right to call it genius. Life was constantly seeking greater efficiency. The fusions you speak of represent a monumental leap. By incorporating a bacterium that had mastered aerobic respiration, the host cell gained an unparalleled power pack. This allowed for a massive increase in energy, paving the way for greater complexity and ultimately multicellularity. These once free-living microbes became so integrated that they are now an indispensable part of our very being. And the story doesn't end there. My work also touches upon another monumental engulfment, the incorporation of a photosynthesizing bacterium which created the chloroplast in plants. The iconic green of all plant life is entirely due to these formerly independent bacteria. Without this second, great engulfment, plants, and by extension, most of the life we see today, simply wouldn't exist. So while it might seem ramshackle from a design perspective, this evolutionary path of engulfment was a stroke of profound genius. It allowed for the intricate cellular machinery that underpins all macroscopic life, illustrating how the small and unseen have orchestrated the grandest narratives of life.
Peter, this has been an incredible wealth of information. Before we let you go, what is the final message you'd like to leave with our audience about why they should pick up your book?
Thank you, David. If there's one message I hope to convey, it is this. We are living at an extraordinary juncture in the deep history of our planet. The intricate dance of life we've discussed, from the chemical equation that initiated life to the great engulfment that birthed the modern cell, are not merely historical curiosities. They are foundational principles with immense practical importance today. My book takes you on a 4-billion-year odyssey, revealing how the smallest architects, the microbes, not only made our world habitable, but continue to hold the keys to its future. We stand today as a species that has, in a blink of geological time, transformed from a mere pimple on the Earth's ecosystem into a raging boil, inducing an Earth fever that threatens our very existence. Thinking small and large presents a novel perspective on this critical alignment of human and natural history. It's a story of life coming uncannily full circle, offering not just a rationale for the urgent questions about civilization's survival, but also, critically, a potential program for escaping that fate. It will show you how the patterns perfected over billions of years at the microbial level can inspire our path forward. It is, in essence, a call to truly see the hidden patterns that connect the molecular to the macroscopic, and to recognize that our future may well depend on embracing the wisdom of the very first inhabitants of our world. I invite you to join me on this journey,